this is led me to very, very much deeper thoughts. Um, this is going to take a little while. It's going to have to come back. I'm going to have to come back because I'm busy having a cold. And those of you who are fellow spoonies or chronic fatigue people understand that there is nothing more irritating, upsetting, like frustrating than having a cold. It's like adding insult to injury, and it just seems really, really rude. Okay, so we put on the Disney princess coloration and hope that we can get this. Anyway, you made an interesting point. You made a great point. And I think I think you might be confusing niceness and kindness. Kindness is much more principled. It's much more, it doesn't look sweet. It doesn't look pretty. It doesn't necessarily make people comfortable. But what it does do is look out for the best interests of people. Now, I'm not saying that, I do know for a fact that in America, white women are better at faking the funk. Like, they pretend that they like you right from like if you're Californian, you know what this is like. You meet somebody and immediately y'all become best friends. And it's not true. You guys don't even know if you like each other yet, but there's this weird like need to establish a friendship which involves trading secrets, which becomes a form of not so much a relationship, but mutually assured destruction. So I've noticed in Europe, there is less friendliness. There is less like overt, obvious, from the beginning friendliness. There's less niceness. But it's because it's not superficial. And when you think about it, white women in America have had to audition for their place at the side of white men. Because when men started coming from Europe, they were marrying indigenous women. They were marrying before slavery really got going in the way it did, they were marrying black women. And they were marrying women of other races, right? And then they started shipping white women out in order to be with these men. In Europe, when it comes to white women, their position at the side of white men has always been assured. It was never a question of like, oh, is this person going to choose to marry me? Of course he is. We grew up together in the same town, blah, 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 blah. Of course he is. Everybody in my family, the history of our entire families is here on this land. It's not a matter of my survival to marry him at this particular moment because a little bit, my family, because, people tend to move around a lot less in Europe, especially back then. You stayed where you were put. And so you tended to have a deeper bench when it came to support. Now imagine them sending white women from Europe over here by themselves most of the time. And then finding themselves in situations where they had to find somebody to marry, or else their situation became even more precarious. No support, no family really. It sort of lays the ground for learning how to get people on your side quickly, because you have to in order to be safe. So that just what you said